Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of our video blog series, Hurry Up and Fail on the Tactical Entrepreneur. I'm very excited about today's episode because it's something that I've been wanting to share, but I haven't shared because I've been a little bit afraid of how it would make me look, and frankly I feel a little bit embarrassed that it's even happened. And this has happened to me twice, and here I thought that I was so clever learning from my first mistake, and years later I made that same mistake again. So today we are learning about that mistake. All right, mistake that I made on this episode is double booking yourself. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one. And if you have ever double booked yourself ever, you can definitely raise your hand and let me know. For me, every now and then I might double book myself for a meeting day or a photo session day, and then I have to move things around or shift my schedule and whatnot, and everything works out great. But this situation, two times this has happened to me. I double booked myself on a wedding day. Yes, I double booked two times this has happened where I've double booked a wedding day twice. The first time happened, it was one of my very first years in business, and I had gone ahead and I had a business partner at the time. I was pursuing one client, she was pursuing another. I went ahead and booked one client for a particular date, and then the other client messaged back saying they were interested too. And I had told my business partner that we were available, and I failed to mention that I had already booked us for that day. And there we had it. We had double booked a wedding day, and I felt absolutely terrible. It was most it was horrible. It was one of the awfulest feelings I've ever felt when I've known that I've signed agreements with two different people to document and photograph their incredible wedding day, and I wasn't able to be at two places at once. I was heartbroken. And so, luckily, in the beginning, there was myself and my business partner. So we were able to split off because at that time we were equally the same person, same skill sets, same photography styles, same posing, same everything. We did a lot of things together, and therefore our knowledge base was very similar. So it's a lot easier for us to split off and find assistants to work with us to photograph these weddings so that way we could still give the same quality and caliber of work to our clients. But here's the tricky part. So I learned from that and I double checked everything and I made sure that I had a shared calendar with anyone that was on my team going forward. So that way I always knew if I was double booked or not. Well, then it happened again last year. And I am so ashamed to even admit it, but I think it's important and it's very valuable for you guys to know and understand that these mistakes happen. And sometimes they happen a second time. Even though you've put every barrier in place, all of a sudden something new happens, some new variable gets tossed into the mix, and before you know it, you've double booked yourself again. Last year, I was vacationing with my husband in Norway. This was our second time in Norway, and I absolutely love it there. What everyone knows, and it's common sense, but I had, there's a time difference between the central US and Norway. And I knew that there was a time difference. So, and I really ultimately don't work when you're on vacation. That should be a whole episode on its own is if you're on vacation, do not work, do not check your emails. Make sure that you have someone else that's taking care of your things for you while you are away and trying to enjoy yourself. Because that's probably where my first mistake came in to begin with. It was late at night and we were resting from a long day of hiking. We had finally gotten back to the hotel and I decided to open up my computer and check my emails. So I get this lovely email and the email was amazing. The couple sounded absolutely wonderful. And I hurried and I looked at my calendar and I looked and I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm available. I have this date open and I can completely shoot their wedding. They sound amazing." And I started chatting with them back and forth. And we went ahead, signed on the dotted line and everything. We did everything online. And before I knew it, we were booked and ready to go. And then I came home and pulled up my computer and realized that I had already had a wedding on that day and that I totally booked them by accident. And the reason why that happened is because of the time zone. My calendar was thinking a day ahead. And when I looked at whether I was booked or not, because everything synced to the current time zone I was physically in, it made it appear as if I had a wedding that Friday, but not that Saturday. So when that Saturday wedding came in, I said, "Oh, wow, I'll just have a double header weekend. I'll photograph two weddings this weekend." Well, wrong. Very, very, very wrong because that certainly hurt me. Because as soon as I realized that, I went ahead and I called my poor bride and groom, who were just amazing, and I was able to offer a solution where I could have an associate photographer photograph their wedding at a slightly reduced rate, and I would still take care of all the communications back and forth, and I would also still take care of their post processing so that they get the exact finishing touches that I put on all of my wedding work. And it worked out great. But again, I felt awful. It was this feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I just felt like I was the worst person in the world. So, again, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, but at the same time, sometimes you don't know what to expect. Sometimes there's other variables, and even if you have your calendar up to date, take time to really look at everything. If you feel like there's something missing, there probably is. If your gut instinct tells you, "I need to hold off on this," listen to it. Because I'm not going to lie, I thought to myself, I wonder why I'm open that day. I didn't think I was open that day. And I checked my calendar and I double checked it. And I thought, no, I am open that day. My calendar wouldn't lie to me. And it didn't lie to me because with the time zone difference, it showed that my calendar was open that day because it would be a different day if I was shooting it in Norway time. And luckily, I have the most amazing clients in the world that were super understanding and we were able to work something out. But let me tell you what, sometimes we're not that fortunate. Sometimes we don't get into those situations where we can really feel amazing about what's happening at the end, or at least feel even halfway decent about the mistake that we've made. But I'm so glad that this mistake ended up working out in a way that was still beneficial to my client and made me not feel like the worst person on earth, because I certainly had felt that way for a very, very long time, even throughout the whole entire process. But that is what I have today is double check your calendars, make sure that you aren't double booking yourself, give yourself time. And even if you're booking yourself for different things, don't book yourself so close. Make sure that you leave some buffer room in between. If you have appointments, don't be booking your appointments back to back to back to back because things run late. And a lot of the times, it is not on you that they're running late. Sometimes there are other forces of nature that are working against us on certain days, or a client is running late, or there's an accident that happens on the road that causes us to become late, and then we're late to one appointment, which pushes us late to another appointment, and so on and so forth. If you've ever been to the doctor's office and had an appointment and ended up waiting and waiting and waiting because other appointments went late and got pushed, and eventually at the end of the day, now it's your appointment, but since the doctor's office is an hour behind, you're stuck there waiting an hour, sometimes more, before you even get in to see your doctor. Let's not do that in our business and in our lives. Let's give ourselves a break Give ourselves that little bit of time, that buffer in between appointments. And again, don't work. Don't work when you're on vacation. If you're on vacation, just be on vacation. Because if I would have just closed my eyes to the rest of the world and made sure that I either didn't even bring my computer with me or turn it off or only just do non work related stuff on my computer, I would have been completely fine. By the time I would have responded to that message, I would have realized I wasn't available and everything would have been great. They would have been able to find someone just as amazing and not have had to deal with the debacle that I had inadvertently put them through. So there you have it. There is episode 3 of the Hurry Up and Fail video blog for you. I hope you can take some little bit of nugget from there and learn a little bit, double, triple check your calendars, and give yourself a little bit of grace. All right, everyone. Until next time, we will see you later.